Hey, I'm Michael Bovee. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel where I cover most things debt and credit. Usually when things are going poorly, like my credit sucks, I'm trying to get some goals accomplished, and what's next, right? Or I'm struggling with my bills and my debt, and what can I do? So today I'm going to talk about Navy Federal. It was a little surprising to me after all these years of making videos that I haven't covered the largest credit union that we have in the United States. Before I get started, let me just outline that I respond to everybody's comments on my YouTube channel. All videos are open, and I respond to those 7 days a week with my morning coffee every day of the year, holidays, the whole nine. And I help people do this. So I'm not just talking about things to help you help yourself, although that is thematic throughout my YouTube channel. We help people, right? I can help you lower your monthly payment on a credit card. I can help you settle a debt, right? And at a fraction of the cost of what most places are going to charge you across the country. So let's dig into it. So Navy Federal it's the largest credit union, right? And military service members, right? I can get that. I've never served in the military, but my father was in the Navy, and so I can get access to a Navy Federal account, right? They have a huge member base, and they do virtually all things banking. And when it comes to your bills, your unaffordable loan or credit card, they participate in all of the different debt relief options. So let me break that down for you. If you are struggling to make your minimum payment and your interest rate is in the 20s, they have programs where they lower that. They work with nonprofit credit counseling agencies. So if you just have one account, it's Navy Federal, and you're trying to get a lower payment, sometimes you're better off just contacting Navy Federal. But if you have more than one account, and most people do, that have high interest rates, credit cards, that is, it might be a better idea for you to contact one of the nonprofit credit counseling agencies across the country. There are dozens, and they're mostly national. I've got my hotline, the toll-free number on my YouTube channel, 800-939-8357, plus option one that'll connect you to a counselor. These counselors have the ability, usually in one phone call, to go over your bills and look at your credit card banks and those policies of those banks for reducing your interest rate and give you a quote of what your monthly payment's going to be in one phone call. That's pretty cool, right? It's free. So why not find out what they can do for you? I like nonprofit credit counseling agencies and the work they do because it's kind of a kinder, gentler, softer version of debt relief in that you don't really have to fall late. You don't have to hurt your credit, the things that happen with the other debt relief options. And so that's kind of my starting point where when I'm talking with somebody who's not already delinquent, can you afford your bills, all of your participating creditors in a nonprofit credit counseling agency? That's a great place to start. But if you are unable to keep current on a Navy Federal credit card or a loan, they also will settle a debt for less than what you owe. And I consider them to be pretty good at it. In other words, some banks settle and not so great reduction. Or some banks settle and there's not a lot of flexibility in how you can pay that settlement, right? And Navy Federal is really good at both. They give good reduction and they also are flexible in the amount of time that they'll allow you to set up your payments. So you don't need a lump sum, in other words. Now, my work experience is that a lump sum and all of, I settled my first debt in 1994, right? I've been doing this full time for 25 years. So, in all that time, the ability to provide a lump sum single payment tends to lead to a better savings outcome. And you do tend to give up some of that savings when you need a year or two to pay. But that's on the table with Navy Federal. Okay. So, one of the other things I like to point out, and just like in credit counseling, if you have more than one account, when you're doing debt settlement and you have more than one account to settle, if you're not sitting on a treasure trove of cash, and most people watching this video aren't, then it comes down to your success in settlement can come down to whether you choose this one to settle first, this one second, next one, fourth, fifth, 10th, right? The organization with which you do, or the orchestration of your settlements first to last, has a huge impact on what you pay each settlement down the line and whether you're going to succeed at all, whether you get sued. Okay. Navy Federal isn't a heavy litigator, but let's get into that topic. So there are three collection buckets in the US that banks place accounts into. Those are contingency collection agencies, the most collector we have in the country. There are debt buyers, and there are collection law firms. Those are typically the buckets that a unsecured loan or credit card from Navy Federal is going to land in. They place a lot of contingency collection accounts. They do a dabble of debt selling, right? Right now, as I'm recording this for the last year and a half, I've seen them sell primarily to the largest privately held debt buyer in the country, LVNV funding. But that doesn't mean other debt buyers don't bid on those portfolios for sale by LV or by Navy Federal, and that can happen. If you are dealing with LVNV and you're watching this video, schedule a consult with me. We need to talk. I always encourage people to just talk with me first before you start talking to a debt buyer. Actually, you should schedule a call with me before you even start talking to Navy Federal. Anyway, they're not heavy on the litigation button. They can, they do. It's just not that common. And when I rank these things and I say, well, Amex is really litigious, so is Discover, and then down the list, Navy Federal is going to be lower on the list because they're a little bit more I guess soft glove, if you will. They care about their members, they care about their members' hardships, and they work with you. So that's the message I want to convey across this video, at least at the time of this publishing, because there was a time, again, I've been doing this for a while, and there was a time where Navy Federal was a little bit more Billy Goat Gruff, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more, I wouldn't be saying the things I'm saying all these years later about them. So their trends and their tendencies today, I've covered. Again, if you have questions in this one-off scenario that you're dealing with Navy Federal, just hit me in the comments of this video. But if you have just more than one account, just two or more, and or your situation's a little bit more complicated and you need a lot of runway to come up with a plan or whatever it is, then certainly schedule a call with me in the bottom or in the description of my video here. There's a link right to my calendar app. You just click that, find an opening that I've got that works for you, and I'll call you. It will be me calling, and we'll go over what I see about your situation and how to help you reach your goals. See you on the next video.